Being the parent of like a little kid, I think has gotten a lot harder than when I was raising my daughter. She's 23 now, and man, I got to tell you, the decisions you have to make and the things you have to monitor and protect your children from today has gotten a lot harder. What do you give them that's still entertaining, but also aligns with your values? You know, we've talked about Way FM being a product that you don't have to filter, but like if you got Netflix in your house, you got to have the filter on.
And even Disney Plus, you have the same problem.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, Disney Plus has been disappointing to me as a parent. And some of the things they've chose to put on there, and like you got to watch it, you know? And that's why it's so nice to have something. If I was raising little kids, I would do a PureFlix subscription, man, because you've got content on there that you're not having to filter out. And as a parent, I mean, I know we want to be involved in our kids' lives, but sometimes you need to park them in front of the TV and take 10 minutes to yourself. That's why PureFlix is a great option for families. You got family stuff, obviously. They're even dabbling in some drama. Yes, and PureFlix originals. Like I saw the movie on their Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, and I have to tell you,
you cried.
I did. There was 3 times, not once, 3 times.
I did.
I wept, and I was moved, and it was a great movie. And I think if I was raising my child now, I think PureFlix would be definitely a part of my family's entertainment plan.
So if you'd like to try PureFlix, text PURE, that's PURE, to 91979 to get your 1-week free trial. Faith and family entertainment with no ads on your favorite devices.
Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, the Friday version of this bad boy. Woo! All the things we didn't get to during the course of the show today. I know we are all like chomping at the bit to get out today after work here. My wife flew out today, and she is going to Utah with her best friend. Her friend's daughter dances in a professional dance troupe out there, and so she's going out to see one of their last performances. And so she's like, you know, I don't really do this a whole lot. And then she's like, oh, wait, I did this twice this year already. I'm like, yeah, you kind of do.
This is like your year of the, what do we call
Gap week?
Yeah, Gap week. You've got all the Gap weeks this year, except your mom is with you this time.
And I'd been married a lot longer. Like your wife was like, I need time away from you. Long distance relationship for 4 years, got married, then took every week off.
It was, year one was very gappy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? In retrospect, maybe that was better for you guys because a lot of people say the first year of marriage is hard. She just wasn't around. So it's probably pretty easier. You worked into it.
We appreciate each other so much now because we did the long distance and then we did an extra bit of long distance. They do say
that the first year of marriage is really hard. A lot of people say that. I never really felt that. Like I enjoyed it. I just thought it was fun. It was like, oh, we finally got to this chapter. You know, we had dated for 4 years and it was like, okay, well, we're going to get married, and we couldn't wait because we were waiting for me to graduate to get married, and we still got married. I had a year left to go in college because I went to school late, and I didn't find and I was 24 when we got married, so I was young but not 18, you know, and I just didn't find that first year was as challenging as people made it out to be, and I'm really thankful for that.
I think that year one was challenging for us in the sense that we were adjusting to like every aspect of adulthood, including like being married, living in a place, paying like rent, paying like all of these things. And I think I was well set up to get that. But I think that there were some things that were challenging. I've enjoyed every year past the first year.
So you thought the first year was harder?
I thought it was harder, but I think it was because it was me adjusting to a new job here.
Right.
She hadn't found a job yet, so we were trying to handle a lot of things on like one salary, which is very doable, but you're finding ways to stretch yourself thin. I think she got her job. We found a really nice house to move into that we rent for a good price. Like, I think things have clicked a lot better since then.
Like the person that you replaced, Zach, when I hired him, Betty was already here. We hired Zach 3 months after we started this show, and he was getting married in Tennessee, like an hour from here already. And so, he came down and he got married and then came to work. Like it was just kind of like just transition right into there. And that is a lot of stuff when you're young for sure. So my wife is traveling, and so I am going to be somewhat of a bachelor this weekend, but my mom's here, so I got to find things that my mom wants to do too, because I was planning on doing a whole lot of other just nothing.
Are we starting with weekend plans?
Oh, I guess this did spill a little bit.
Actually, I did split weekend plans. We'll get to that. I'm sorry. I was going somewhere and I forgot.
You're excited to get out of here.
It's Friday.
Yeah, I was on a trip. Yeah, I was on a trip. Oh, because I left my mom at home, and like a puppy, you can't leave them at home alone too long. I've got to go. She doesn't have a car or anything. Because I don't think she wants to drive my wife's car because it's new, and so she's afraid of wrecking it. That's honorable. I need to get home so I can take her shopping for meatloaf. But anyway, that's weekend plans.
Got your values all in order.
Oh, absolutely.
Smart man.
There's some craziness going on in Ukraine. Hey, go figure. Voting began Friday in Moscow-held regions of Ukraine. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this, Russia comes in and invades Ukraine, and they're like, "We're going to make you all part of Russia now. We're just coming in here and claiming." It's like if someone walked into your house and went, "Your house is now mine." You'd be like, "No, it's not. It's mine." But then they said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're moving into your house, and then we're going to let you vote to see if you want to be part of our new family." And that because that's what they're doing with the parts that they hold in Russia, they are holding like a vote to see if the people that they've in essence overtaken want to be part of Russia or not. How do you think that vote's going to go?
That's like so you think
not well.
Weird.
A company or a country that invaded another sovereign country under false pretenses, and you think you're going to have a fair vote on? Yeah, we want to be your best friends now. It's lunacy that they're having to deal with over there. And here's another thing I hadn't really thought about was. Because now they are, if he makes them part of Russia and Ukraine attacks to take back this part, then they can say, well, you've been aggressive towards Russia, and they can up the ante and up the scale of this. So that's one reason for it. And the other thing is, too, this would be really tragic. I haven't heard any news outlets say this, but I'm just curious. Putin is upping the, in essence, a draft. He's calling for 300,000 more men to join. And Russians are like, absolutely not. This is crazy. They're protesting and rioting as they should. But what about this? So he goes in and he takes these two major areas in Ukraine. He makes them Russia. And now if he does a call up, he could call them up to fight. So in essence, they would be fighting people, their countrymen that were their fellow countrymen 2 days ago, and just such a mess.
And that's not a place you're going to say no. Like you just can't say no and still I'm going to live to say no.
You can't. You're powerless to fight back at this point. Like they can't control it. It's still so sad what's going on over there, and it really has kind of flopped out of the news. It's not as prevalent anymore, and so it's still a need, and there's still a lot of people hurting over there. Closer to home, the director of the CDC, Rochelle Walensky, became the latest American to receive her new booster shot. She told ABC that thus far millions of Americans have gotten their updated booster shot, but not really. I mean, maybe millions. Like I don't know. I don't know about that because the original booster shot out of let me see, it's 109 million Americans received their first booster, which is 50% less than those who were fully vaccinated. So of the people that were fully vaccinated. And then the people that got the booster, only half of the people that were vaccinated even got the booster. So now they're like, we had millions of people that have taken the brand new booster. Mathematically, that's just not statistically possible. But again, they're just continuing to put forward what they want to have happen as if it's fact. And that's been a big problem inside of COVID this whole time.
Right.
The COVID years, 5 years from now, are going to be fascinating. When journalists get their heads out of their butts and they actually start covering things instead of just lockstepping with the government that they love and the administration that they fawn all over. I think 5 years from now, you're going to see things when actual journalists decide to not be George Stephanopoulos and decide to actually do what they were called to do and find things that will be like, man, this was messed up and I can't believe we did this.
You were in such a good mood and then all of a sudden you're going down.
I know. That's what politics does to you. Yeah, it does. It makes you mad.
Back up.
No, but this makes me happy.
You don't sound happy.
I'm intense. But the point of all this too, though, is like it was like they're going back to the boosters again. And how many times are you going to have to be boosted? Are we doing this forever? Is it going to be a once a year shot? They still don't know.
Right.
But the interesting thing was Biden was on 60 Minutes and he said that the pandemic is over. And then the CDC is like, well, well, we don't know about that, guys. We still got a lot of doses to give people. You know?
I'm sure there will be some documentary that comes out. There was already one that I watched, and it was about the people that were on the cruise. I think you watched it too. It was on HBO Max.
Oh,
or maybe I told you about it.
I didn't see it. No, I haven't seen that. I would love to see that.
I think I told you about it.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to watch that.
But it was about the people that were on that first cruise, and they were in Japan or somewhere and got boarded, but then nobody could get off. They didn't know what was going on, but it was very enlightening.
I had a friend whose son was on either that one or one, because there were a couple cruise ships that were stranded at the time, and he was stranded on a cruise ship like that, and he was there for 3 weeks, something like that, before they were able to get him off. And he was telling his dad, he would talk to his dad and says, it's horrible. You know, the conditions are just crazy. We have no information. No information is always a problem for people, because your mind can come up with way worse than what is actually happening. I know mine can. And I know when we merged with a new ministry in Houston, KSBJ, and so they have been over communicating the transition between what it looks like for these two entities, to the point that Betty Rock told the new CEO, she's like, "Oh yeah, I don't watch any of your videos. They kind of waste my time." I'm like, Rock.
I didn't say it like that. I just said, yeah, those emails, I
don't read any of them. I don't know why you waste your time typing them, because we ain't looking at them.
She took a very extreme alpha stance.
And then it's just, there's so many words. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
But from their point, they're like, well, we have to over.
Could I get the footnotes, bullet points?
I agree. I know there's way too much, and then a bunch of it doesn't apply to me, but they've got to do it for everybody.
I appreciate it, and it's how some people enjoy it. But
I think it's I do think it's a necessary thing. My master's degree was in all this kind of stuff. Believe it or not, it has nothing to do. Well, I'm very smart, but it has nothing to do with my radio job. But in a change initiative, one of the worst things you can do is not communicate, because people's minds go to the darkest place and the worst possible place. That's where conspiracy theories come out of. And that's why the government did a really poor job of communicating effectively during COVID, And I think we have, in our kind of merger, have felt, that's a lot of communication. But I think you should err on that side versus the lack of communication, for sure. So what do you got, Rock?
Adam Levine.
Who?
So Adam Levine.
Oh, I just said Avril Lavigne.
No, Adam Levine. He is the lead singer of the pop group Maroon 5.
He sings Super High.
Yes, and they also did the Super Bowl at one point.
And he's on The Voice.
Yes, he was a judge on The Voice. Anyways, recently it was announced that he was caught in an affair with another woman. Now, he is married with a child.
Ouch.
And when I say affair, you're probably thinking, that went so far. But this one, he's saying, well, it was only me texting her. There was only verbal communication.
I hadn't heard that.
Nothing was physical.
Really? Okay, no, it's still wrong. It's still, you're still kind of stepping outside of your marriage, getting something from somebody else that you should be getting from your marriage. But I had not heard that, because I heard him apologize. And,
yes.
Wow.
It was all verbal, but it was all through, I think, Instagram messages. And so what's crazy to me is that the celebrity should know that even when you look at politics, people are looking to find those skeletons in your closet, and they are more than willing to do it. So to put it in writing is just crazy to me. But that's exactly what Adam Levine did. He saw this girl, I think she was a model or an influencer or whatever on Instagram, and he messaged her and just said how hot she was. And that led on to more and more and more communication, but it was never physical.
Right.
Anyways, that word got out, and he is apologizing. One woman, and I think she's a A-list model, but she posted a video about the whole situation. And she made a point. She said, a lot of people on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, they're blaming the other woman, the woman that was the girl that he reached out to and was saying how hot she was. They were blaming
Takes two
her.
to tango, so there is an element of that.
They were saying it was her fault, that she's a home wrecker and all these things.
Oh, that's a stretch.
But no one is blaming Adam.
What?
And so, I'm saying this. That's what this woman, this model, is saying.
Right.
She's like, we should be blaming Adam because he is twice this other girl's age. Like, she's in her 20s. I believe he's in his 40s. And so he should know better. He's the one that decided to be in a marriage. He's the one that decided to reach out to this woman and tell her how good looking she was. And so he should be to blame. And when you blame the other woman, you're just putting more and more diversity or what's the word? Discord between women, because women already, we can be hard on each other. Sure. But you're supporting that kind of.
Well, to blame her and not him is lunacy. I think that there is blame on both parts, because you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be a Christian to understand. We have set up in our society, by and large, that cheating, dealing with somebody else's marriage is wrong. There's not like this moral code that you somehow have missed because you're not a believer.
Yeah, I want to also preference too that this other woman,
yes,
she was under the impression that he was going through a divorce,
sure,
or that their marriage was dwindling.
I get that.
So had she known that his wife thought their marriage is healthy, she may not have communicated like she did.
Like in the manner in which she
we
did.
Don't know.
And this is not me blaming her at all. Like, I mean, honestly, the first and foremost is on him, because he's being the aggressor. He's the one that's stepping out. He knows the whole situation of his home, and he's doing it in the dark, and so he is hiding it. So he absolutely is 100% culpable. She probably is, especially if she didn't know the extent of it. But even then, like, I'm going through a divorce. Well, let me talk to you when you're done. Is probably how you should handle that. But that doesn't happen much in this world. And so she's not as culpable as him. But to call her the homewrecker and to go at her definitely doesn't feel justified. There are those cases where somebody knows the situation, but they choose to pursue it with them, and it's wrong. Like, I had a friend of mine that he knew this lady was married, and he chose to have a physical affair with her, and he knew the whole time she wasn't getting a divorce and things like that. He chose. So she, I hate to say the word enticed him, but she opened that door, and then he walked through it. So they were both uber culpable. And I remember telling him, I said, dude, I know you, and I know the person you are. And when this is no longer forbidden fruit, you're going to want nothing to do with it. And you're going to break up a family, and you're going to hurt these kids as a result of it. And it's just for your own selfish desires. I cannot be more plain with you than this. And this wasn't even when I was like doing Christian radio or like a believer, like this was just as an adult, a human who kind of knows what the rules somewhat are,
What did he think? How did he respond?
Oh, he didn't like that, obviously. He's like, no, I really love her. I said, no, you don't. I said, you love what she can do for you, and you like, and sure enough, man. So he keeps it going for a little bit. She tells him she's getting a divorce, and he's out, like gone. And you're like, man, see, that's exactly what I was talking about. And that was somebody I worked with. And that for me was our final straw. We had always struggled work-wise, with jealousies, insecurities, arguing and stuff. And we'd worked together for a long time. And that was, for me, was the final straw. I'm like, there's no integrity here in you now, and I'm done. And so then we had this horrible, public ending of our work relationship, but since then, like, we've fixed all that, which is good. Like, I'm happy that we fixed all that, but it was definitely not a good thing, and not a conversation you want to have with somebody.
And it is I forget what the term is. It's not double-edged sword, but it's
double standard.
It's a double standard.
It's a bubble standard. Most people
standard.
have a
You
bubble
get it.
standard in their life. I love the things you come up with.
I didn't say bubble standard though. I said double standard.
Listen back.
But now we've said
right now.
standard.
Anybody right now that is listening to the podcast, just hit the back button
Also,
for 15
Gavin
seconds.
is typing, and I bet
It's the title of the episode.
Bubble standard.
It's a bubble standard.
Anyway,
All right.
it's a double standard
Yes.
when men or boys,
Yes.
whatever you want to call them, are able to have one night stands.
Sure.
And they get patted on the back. And they're like, oh, boys will be boys.
Shouldn't,
and
yeah.
then women, girls, if they do the same, they're considered horrible
Right, exactly.
people.
Oh, thank you for finishing the rest of that word.
Yeah.
In a different-
Horrible people.
I did not.
Anyway.
I was like, she's literally lost her mind.
I did too. Whereas guys get a cleaner word,
Yeah.
like player, and they're like,
Yes,
there's almost
yeah.
like credit given
Yeah.
to men. It's really
It
bad.
is. It is a bubble standard for sure.
Absolutely.
That's not to undo your thing. I just think bubble standard is a great word. I love it so much.
Gonna use it a lot now.
Said double standard. I started with a B, but I meant double.
Okay, I know it's so good.
Anyways, all that to say,
Yes, what to
that
say?
when that is a double standard, it could be moving into this situation where
Right.
you're blaming the other woman
Yeah.
because
Right.
she should know better. She should know how important a marriage is, how important a family is.
Right.
And while that's true, a man should know that just as well.
Oh yeah, it starts with him. Honestly, I mean, he's definitely. They're both culpable, but he definitely. If you were looking at assigning a percentage of guilt in a court case of something, like he's 100% guilty.
It's also
You
just
know?
like a shame that like this is a situation, and they're celebrities, so they have to take what's given when they are famous like this. But it's a shame that they have to have their situation analyzed by like millions of people, especially when there are kids in this mix.
Right. You know what? It reminds me, again, this is what's so crazy about how we are insatiable and as people a lot of times. There's a song from Lecrae called Confessions. Confessions of a Millionaire.
These are my confessions.
No,
Just
Confessions
when I
of a
thought I
Millionaire.
said all I can say.
Oh no, not that one.
That's Usher.
But he's like sitting next to a man on flight, thinking everybody behind him is a peon. He's gonna go home and cheat on his model wife. What was it? Oh wait. Oh no, he goes. Sitting on a flight with a guy that thinking everyone behind him is a peon, going home to a model wife he's probably going to cheat on, and you're like, oh, boy, that's a nice little turn
It's
of
what
phrase.
Jay-Z did.
Yeah,
It's what
he said, look what happened to Dion.
what a mutt. Shania Twain's husband.
Oh, Mutt Lang, yeah. But that's,
he
I mean,
did.
that's the crazy thing. Like you look at these people that like have say
Everything.
by all standards.
Looks,
You've got money, you got looks, you've got the perfect spouse that we all want to look like, and so you should be happy. But the reality
Brad
is,
Pitt.
yeah.
Jennifer Aniston.
Although this was a bad time, unfortunate time. We talked about this yesterday. Him coming out with his face line cream. He's looking older, and you're selling a face
He's
cream.
looking rugged.
Yeah, no, not in a good way.
Oh no,
He's
I
looking,
think it is still in a good way.
really.
I'm
Oh,
like
I think it looks
ashamed that I have
tired.
to jump in on that argument.
Yeah, there's a
but,
difference between old and rugged, and rugged is hot.
Like I think he's entered this phase where he's like rocking. He's got like roles where he's rocking like this like long hair look that he's got going
don't
on.
know.
Not a lot of
little bit
guys can
facial
do that.
hair.
Yeah.
like he's not 30 anymore. And he might as well look
Right.
like he's almost 60 years old.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm disappointed.
You would be.
I thought
Yeah.
they stayed young forever.
Yeah, no. But I mean, you get to this point where you're just not satisfied. I mean, and that's the thing. The secret is be super ugly so you don't get cheated on. But that's what I did. That was the approach I took. No, but like the point of it is, in all seriousness, is that if you're not content inside, if you're not thankful inside, if you're not happy inside, it doesn't matter how good looking you are, how much money you have, you're always going to look for that next thing. And so where does true purpose, true fulfillment, true contentment, where does that come from? It comes from God, you know? And if you don't have that, that's why, I mean, now, do Christians cheat? Absolutely. Do we mess up? Absolutely. Are our numbers close to what the world is? Absolutely. But for you personally, regardless of the numbers and everything like that, the point is unless you are truly satisfied with your life in Christ, then you can run the dangers of seeking out things that will ultimately not make you happy in your pursuit of them, you know? And so there you go. That's your sermon for today, for your Friday. Nailed it.
Good job.
Let's do some birthdays. Birthdays.
All right. We've got 2 of them.
Woo.
So the first one is George Fair, a.k.a. Silverback Barbecue Sauces.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Sounds
He's
interesting.
George is celebrating a birthday tomorrow, said he loves to cook. He's a minister.
Makes sense.
And then he is in corporate security. Wow.
Wow.
His question is,
those two
stuff
words
going
seem
on.
to go. Those two worlds seem to like be divergent.
his question is, would you love to try my barbecue sauce?
Yes.
I would actually.
Yes.
Oh,
The
send it.
address is
Absolutely.
1095 West McEwen Drive, Franklin, Tennessee. Abby is celebrating a birthday today. She said, I'm a military kid,
Nice.
also known as military brat, and I currently live in Dover, Delaware.
Oh.
Her question is, what is your worst memory from when you were a kid?
Oh boy.
A bit negative.
Memory.
Yeah, it's like maybe our horrible lives will make hers better.
Man, I had a good childhood though.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got I could probably count on one hand. It depends on when childhood is.
Yeah.
Because if you say childhood, I think of preteen
Yeah.
years. And I remember one time I was going to the bathroom, and I walked in, and it wasn't the men's room in 3rd grade, and I
That's the worst.
honestly thought that was the end of my world.
Yeah, I literally did that 8 months ago in an airport. Like the lady told me the restroom was up and on the left, and I went in there and I walked in and I'm like, there should be 2 bathrooms. And I thought they were going to diverge, and there was one, and it was the women's bathroom because I walked in and there were no urinals.
And you walked out, right?
Oh, absolutely! I
Okay.
walked out. So I walked out, and then there was another guy walking in. I'm like,
Go, go, go.
That's not the men's room. It's just the ladies' room. And he was like, I gotta go. So he went in. I'm like, okay, there you go.
I've made it to the stall before.
Yeah,
But when I realized it was a woman's restroom
yeah.
in college, that was bad.
Betty, do you have a bad memory from childhood?
Not really. Like Gavin said, I've had a pretty good childhood.
Sorry to the person who asked this if they were hoping we
Yeah.
did have.
I think it was hard. Maybe I wasn't a sports kid at
Yeah.
all. Neither of my parents are either. And I tried for softball, and I played for 1 year, but I mainly did it because I wanted to be friends and and fit in kind of thing. And I was like maybe 8 at the time, and I just hated every minute of it. My parents were so happy when I gave it up.
That's so funny.
But it did make it hard to keep those relationships, because then they have these bonds that you don't have kind of thing. But then it worked out in 11th grade, I think. I ended up being the statistician for the volleyball team. So I got to go on all the trips, and it was
The
fantastic.
statistician. That's
a
so
long
great.
gap
Which is
between
crazy
8 and-
because I mean, I was a really bad kid when it comes to math.
Yeah,
Really
that's
bad.
funny
Yeah,
that
how
you
did
were the
that happen?
statistician.
Either they were desperate or I just was
They were worse
favored.
at math than you.
You were just like giving your team like all the score. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh, we won 100-0, guys. Good job.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's funny.
I remember I had been having problems isolating from my sister, and it was kind of like I don't know. I had my reasons, but we were isolating from her. And then our parents, they went on this trip, and so they went on this cruise, and their ship sank. And
You're full of crap.
no,
Are
and
you talking about like a Disney movie right now?
and I could freeze
Tarzan?
things with my hands.
Okay, it's
there it
frozen.
is. Okay.
We're waiting for it. And there it is, guys. There it is. Was it worth it?
Yes.
Probably not.
Absolutely, it was worth it because there are people that are like, no way, really?
Once we went on an African safari,
Yes.
and my dad was killed by a pack of wildebeest.
Yes, exactly. See, that's funny stuff. Okay, let's do some
Weekend plans. Everyone's got a weekend plans.
All right.
Weekend plans.
I will be hanging out with my wife. My wife is
Wow.
gone.
You really
keep
won't be.
saying that.
I
You
know.
say about your wife, you say my mom,
I
and
know.
then your mom, you say my wife.
you
I'm
gonna
so
be
confused.
okay?
I'm not going to be
It's
okay.
kind of like what's his name from Bates Motel?
Oh, Norman.
Psycho.
Oh.
My wife, what I meant to say, my wife is not in town, so I will be hanging with my mother. And Betty Rock had
See, it does happen where you have mishaps instead
Yeah.
of a double standard. It's a bubble standard.
I know. I'm going to say bubble standard for the rest of my life. I think it's
And I'm going to call your
fantastic.
mom your wife.
But no, so Betty Rock was like, oh, you should go and take her to the Nashville flea market. I'm like, oh, that is a really good idea because that's this weekend. So I'm going to do that. She wants to go to pickleball.
That's a great
Yeah.
play, right? Or
No,
will
she
play?
wants to play.
Oh, that'd be
You should
awesome.
definitely
Yeah.
do that.
So I'll
Don't take
her.
mercy on her though.
Oh no, that's not how you learn.
Crusher.
Yeah.
You should really do that.
No, I'll take her with me, and
a good idea.
then like because I think early in the morning,
What'll be funny is that she'll
She'll
walk
win.
away with like no injuries, and
Yeah.
he'll be the one hobbling.
on
My
Monday.
gout.
Mom, can you carry me out of here?
Mommy,
The,
make me meatloaf. Mom, the meatloaf. Mom. That is literally you.
That will be me. And so Greg and his mother-in-law are going to come over
Oh
tomorrow
my
night
gosh.
for meatloaf.
How cute is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, 'cause
Two
both
best
of our
friends
wives-
and their
Just a
mom.
mother-daughter or son night.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So we'll do that, and then Sunday's
That's
church.
so precious.
Because my wife goes, okay, so I told Paul and Rhonda you'd be at church Sunday. I'm like, I'm not going to church. Like, you're not here. I'm not going. No, I'm watching online. Like, I was going to watch online. And because I love online
With your
church.
mom. You wouldn't bring your mom to
I forgot
church?
my mom was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, because she's like, your mom loves church. I'm like, oh shoot, yeah. I forgot. I gotta like
Ruined my weekend plans.
entertain her beyond Saturday. So no. So I just forgot. No, I just forgot. I was like, I was all excited.
Okay, we have 3 minutes before we got to meet what's his
Shoot.
face.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, so weekend
Go,
plans.
Betty.
What am I doing? I think I'm going to pick up a few puzzles. I've got a
I just
puzzle
brought
that I'm
you in
doing.
one.
I know.
She's
I'm adding my
been looking
collection.
at them all
yeah, I've
day.
been adding to my collection. And then on top of that, I make to get together with some friends, eat some Chick-fil-A, nap, and sleep late like I always do. And then Sunday I have to do nursery.
Oh wow, you seem so happy about that too. Nap. I just saw a
Nap.
twinkle in your eye.
It's
Because she
wonderful.
took a 2-hour nap yesterday.
It was wonderful
Nice.
too. Gavin?
Hanging out with some friends tonight. We're doing like a Cobra Kai themed party.
Oh, that's
I
so
guess.
great. Sweep the leg, Johnny.
And this is hilarious because like, I love all the Karate Kid shows.
Yeah.
I've never watched the Cobra Kai TV show before, so this is my introduction to the show. And there's going to be like burgers and food that's based on the show.
That's really fun.
It's going to be fun.
I remember being young
it's gonna
like
be good.
that and doing theme parties with your friends and stuff. You get to the point where you don't do that anymore.
Oh yeah,
but
because you're like kids ruin everything. And
yeah, but no, that's fun. It's
gonna be good.
I don't make fun of that at all. I think that's good. Good for you. All right, that's gonna do it for your Aftercast.
And as always, thanks for being a potty and a bubble standard.